Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Raiders and the Broncos playing this upcoming week, a big time AFC West showdown. Just a disclaimer here at the beginning, I'm recording this just before Sunday Night Football, so I have not yet seen the Broncos play, but what I expect that to happen, if you don't want to go watch the Broncos-Niners video that we made last week, I think the Niners are going to stomp the Broncos in that game, but we're looking ahead. Looking ahead to week 4, the Raiders playing the Broncos in the black hole in Las Vegas. And I think that this is actually going to be a pretty good game. Both these teams have been disappointing up to this point. The Raiders still without a win. They are 0-3. I expect the Broncos to be 1-2 coming into this game. At best, they're 2-1. If they can beat the Niners, be very impressed. But coming into this game, look, the Raiders offense just isn't as efficient as it should be when Devontae's not getting the ball. What we saw in week 1 was him force-feeding Devontae because Devontae's that dude. But people are just locking up Devontae. They're shading the coverage his way. They're not letting him be the reason that the Raiders are able to win games. And it's shown, the last couple weeks. We've seen Mac Hollins be the leading receiver for that team, and teams are going to be fine with that if the Raiders aren't winning. If the offense isn't as efficient as it should be, who cares if Mac Hollins is getting the ball a few times a game, right? So, they're going to have to figure it out. The offense for them has been stagnant up to this point. The running game hasn't been god-awful by any means, but it's not anything they're like, oh yeah, the Raiders can fall back on their run game if they're not able to pass the ball. This team with a new coach, you would expect that there's going to be some growing pains, and they're still trying to figure everything out. They're trying to learn everything still. Nobody comes into a season playing their best football, but this Raiders team has a bunch of talent. I expect them to be able to win games. It just hasn't come to them yet. They've also, had some pretty tough opponents here at the beginning of the season, but such is life when you're in the AFC, especially the AFC West this season. Honestly, man, McDaniels might just not be a guy who could be a head coach. We saw him in Denver. It didn't really work out for him in Denver. Things didn't go well there. He didn't win a whole lot of games in Denver. And so far, with very talented roster, seems that he's just not putting it together. And again, a lot of growing pains. We'll see what happens as they get into the season. But so far, it's looked inconsistent. It's looked stagnant on offense. The defense has been inconsistent. Doesn't look like there's much growth from this team from one year to the next. So it'll be interesting to see if they can make it back to the playoffs. And then you look at this Broncos team. They have a new time management coach for Nathaniel Hackett, which is a good move. Look, you have to be able to admit when you're not good at something. Right now, he's still in his learning process as a coach. First-time head coach, he's in his learning process. So he gets a time management coach. That's one thing he doesn't have to worry about. Maybe he can focus on the offense a little more because he has somebody telling him the time management stuff separately from everything else that he has to deal with. So hopefully the offense for them can look better. Him and Russ can get on the same page. I don't know why you would say publicly that you and your quarterback aren't on the same page. People can assume that, but that's usually something that's held in house. But look, this team, just like the Raiders, going through some growing pains. They have a new quarterback, which is a whole different thing in itself. He's trying to learn an entire scheme in the offense and the offensive line and the communication with everybody. Then you have the new coach who's trying to teach everybody everything. So the Broncos and the Raiders are both two teams that are unpolished gems at this point. A lot of talent on both these teams, but they're not putting it together right now. But I think that collectively, with all the talent, I think this could be either a really good game or this could be a really bad, really sloppy game. One of two ways. I'm hoping it's a really good game because I'm an optimistic NFL fan. But with all this being said, from what I've seen thus far from the Broncos offense, it has me concerned enough that I can't trust it. I will be riding with Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and the Raiders to win at home against the Broncos. And I would like to know who you think is going to win this game. Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next video.